What's up, guys? How's it going? Cade Moore with More Muscle, and today we're going to be talking about hyponatremia. Guys, hyponatremia is a low sodium in your blood. Basically, runners can get it. This is an important electrolyte. This helps regulate blood pressure. And without sodium, your blood pressure can get really low, and your body will not be able to regulate that blood pressure. And yeah, let's get into it. So, guys, hyponatremia, the rate of sodium is about 136 to 145. Within that range, that's a normal range. Anything lower is hyponatremia. Guys, natremia means salt, hypo means low, so low salt. So water flows in the direction of sodium, so where sodium goes, water follows. The kidneys regulate sodium. Normal ranges are between 136 and 145. Lower than 136 is considered hyponatremia. Risk factors include excessive sweating. So say, for example, if you did a marathon, you could excessively sweat. Maybe if you do construction work and you're outside in the desert, that could also make you sweat a lot and you could lose that sodium. Diuretic use. Guys, diuretics are for people with heart failure or anyone that has excess fluid. And say, for example, if someone has edema in their legs and they want to get rid of it, they can take a diuretic. Obviously, you need to get a medical professional's help first. But a diuretic can help you flush that fluid out of your body. And that can also make you lose sodium, which can cause hyponatremia. Wound drainage, especially gastrointestinal, is also another thing that can make you lose sodium. So say, for example, if you have a wound and you lose a lot of fluid from that, that could be something that can cause hyponatremia. Excessive nasogastric tube secretion. So guys, sometimes when people are having trouble, gaining weight, or if they're losing excessive weight, or say, for example, they have Crohn's disease or some type of stomach issue where they can't really eat food, they'll have a nasogastric tube. That's where a tube goes down their throat, up their nose, down to the stomach, and and we can put food, nutrients, and stuff like that for someone that's having trouble eating, and that can help a lot of people get the nutrition they need. But basically withdrawing that fluid all the time, or testing the fluid could be a problem, and that could make your sodium low. The next one is decreased secretion of aldosterone. Guys, aldosterone, it basically helps the sodium, and so when you have that decreased secretion of aldosterone, that's a hormone, you can get hyponatremia. Hyperlipidemia, like being overweight. Kidney disease is also another thing that can cause hyponatremia. Inadequate sodium intake. So say, for example, someone's fasting excessively and they don't get any sodium, that can cause hyponatremia. So if you guys, the other thing is if you eat extremely healthy foods with excessive, exercise, you could be low in sodium. Now the thing is, most Americans are not low in sodium, and the reason is because there's so much processed foods, canned foods, all that stuff is loaded with sodium, and Americans eat a lot of that. So it's really hard for an American to be hyponatremic. But say, for example, if you're eating super healthy and you're working out a ton, you can actually get low sodium from that if you're not getting a little bit of salt in each meal. You can also get hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia dilutes the sodium, and the low sodium diet can also cause hyponatremia. Cerebral salt wasting syndrome, that can also cause hyponatremia. I don't know exactly what cerebral salt wasting syndrome is, but go ahead, look it up if you want. So the other thing that can happen is if you have a hypotonic solution, if you have like a 0.45% solution, or you have like a freshwater submersion where you take a lot of fresh water in, basically that will dilute your sodium in your body, and that can cause hyponatremia. 0.9% sodium chloride is basically equal to blood, and basically if you're taking 0.9 sodium chloride, you'll stay in the normal range. But 0.45 is a little bit lower and a little bit more hypotonic, and that will basically make the sodium leave your body quicker. Hypotonic solutions are great for someone that has hypernatremia, which is too much sodium, but for someone that has hyponatremia, you don't want to use a 0.45% solution. Someone that has kidney disease or heart failure can also be at risk for hyponatremia. Someone that has excessive amounts of antidiuretic hormone or an anticonvulsant medication, taking SSRIs or desmopressin in older adults can, because older adults have weaker bodies and they may have more chronic illnesses. This can also affect them. And also, obviously, like I've already said, diuretic medications, guys. Diuretics help you flush fluid, and sometimes it flushes too much sodium out. Expected findings, guys, you're going to be cold, so hypothermia, tachycardia, which is a fast heart rate, rapid, thready pulse. So that's going to be a rapid pulse. Hypotension, which is low blood pressure. Guys, remember, when there's not a lot of sodium, your body can't regulate that blood pressure. Your blood pressure is going to get low. And it could get dangerously low. Orthostatic hypotension, diminished peripheral pulses, and vital signs. So neuromuscular, now we're going to get to some neuromusculoskeletal problems that can happen from hyponatremia. That's headache, confusion, lethargy, muscle weakness, respiratory compromise, fatigue, decreased deep tendon reflexes, seizures, lightheadedness, dizziness. And guys, now we're going to talk about the labs, which would be, obviously you'll see a lab level of lower than 136 for the sodium. Your specific gravity, that's like your urine concentration, would be lower than normal, which would be under, I think, 1.005. Could be like 1.002. And then you want to make sure you can, if you're having this problem, you want to eat sodium. It can be easily replaced, but guys, don't just go and drink a bottle of sodium, because that can be very harmful for you. You got to do it very slowly. Just do a pinch of salt every hour or so to get that sodium up. And obviously, you want to eat sodium with potassium, because sodium, you don't want to just eat sodium straight, because basically you have a sodium potassium pump, and when you eat those two, it can kind of regulate your body. So, sprinkle a little bit of sodium on, some fruits and vegetables. That might help. But be careful, be cautious. Don't overdo it. And then, guys, there's like beef broth that has a lot of sodium. Tomato juice, guys. Tomato juice is a great source of potassium and sodium. And obviously, you could get a lactated ringer. Guys, that's an IV thing that's 0.9%. There's one time I actually had hyponatremia. I had COVID, and basically I don't know why, but COVID made me so thirsty, and I was just drinking a ton, and I wasn't eating any sodium, and I ended up feeling like I was going to pass out. And luckily my girlfriend at the time, but my now wife, she took me to the hospital, and they got me a lactated ringer, and right after that lactated ringer, I felt a million times better. Usually when you go to the ER, that's the first thing they'll do, because a lot of people go to the ER because of dehydration. But anyways, guys, you can do sodium replacements. You can do Gatorade. You don't want to take too much sodium at once. You want to monitor ins and outs. So you want to monitor how much you're urinating. You want to monitor the color of your urine. You want to monitor vital signs, level of consciousness. So remember, guys, if your sodium is low for too long, it can cause even a coma or unconsciousness. So you want to monitor that consciousness. And then you guys can do electrolyte fluid replacement. Respiratory services can be consulted. Nutritional services can be consulted for high sodium. Food choices and restricting fluid intake, because sometimes people drink too much water and it dilutes that sodium, and then that's how they get low sodium. You want to notify a healthcare worker of a gain of 1 to 2 pounds in 24 hours, or 3 to 4 pound gain in 1 week. Weighing yourself is really important, and that can tell you if you're drinking too much water, or if that sodium's Gaining too much weight is bad, and that can be a sodium problem. You want to consume a high sodium diet and read food labels if you have hyponatremia. Some complications include a coma, seizure, respiratory arrest, and hyponatremia. You want to achieve a blood sodium level. You want to monitor consciousness, and you want to do sodium chloride slowly, and you want to administer very slowly, and you want to gradually get that sodium level higher. So guys, the big thing you want to take out of this is if you're eating super healthy, if you're drinking too much water, or if you're sweating excessively, you could have hyponatremia. Sodium is extremely important. It regulates your blood pressure, something that you absolutely need to live. So what I do is every single meal, I eat about 4 to 5 meals, six meals sometimes, very small meals, but I eat 6 meals a day. And usually it's just about 2 fistfuls of food, but I do sprinkle a tiny bit of sodium on each meal. Just a tiny bit. That's all you need, unless you're excessively sweating, or unless you have another health problem like kidney disease or something like that. But most of the people in the world that don't have any health issues, just a little bit of sodium every meal is good. Unless you're getting it from processed foods, canned foods, you really don't need it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe.